Aloha, my name is Nancy Kerner, and I'm a holistic health practitioner, author, intuitive, and facilitator of women's circles and retreats for over 3 decades. I love my family and witnessing people break the shackles of fear and pain into love, prosperity, peace, and infinite possibilities.
On January 10th of 1963, 45 current communist goals were submitted to the congressional record. Number 13 was do away with loyalty oaths. 60 years later, on the very same day, Biden, Obrador, and Trudeau met in Mexico City for the Declaration of North America, which states a plan to unify North America under the ideas of diversity, climate change, migration, health, and regional security. The beginnings of a North American Union, which is a step towards a one-world government. According to law, elected officials must swear an oath that they will support, defend, and bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And through the Freedom of Information Act, U.S. Attorney Todd Callender, along with his team at Project Proper Oath, found that not a single member of the existing cabinet has a valid oath of office. U.S. Secretary of the Treasury Janet Yellen has no oath of office. U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin has no oath of office and has also failed to register as a foreign agent, which is required due to serving on the boards and conducting international business with Raytheon, Nucor, and Tenet Healthcare. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland has no oath of office. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has no oath of office. U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas has no oath of office. U.S. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg has no oath of office. U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services Xavier Becerra, responsible for declaring a national emergency during COVID, has no oath of office. Former director of the Centers for Disease Control, Rochelle Walensky, had no oath of office. U.S. Special Counsel Jack Smith, responsible for investigating the January 6th U.S. Capitol attack, has no oath of office. U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Matthew Graves, Chief Prosecutor of Jan 6ers, has no oath of office. Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, has no oath of office. Within 30 days of appointment to public office, all public officials are legally required to have a signed and notarized copy of their oath of office. And it appears as if no elected officials in the federal government have one. They are either non-existent, incomplete, or fraudulent. The fraudulent ones are missing signatures, are not notarized, and in most of them, the words, "So help me God," are in all caps. In the U.S. Constitution, "So help me God" is not in all caps. And this matters, as many have been telling us for decades, including the great Jordan Maxwell.
Today, the entire world of mankind operates under a world law, which is referred to as the law of the high seas or international maritime admiralty. When you were born, you came out of your mother's water. Since you came out of your mother's water, you are a maritime product. This is why, when you were born, the dock has to sign your birth certificate. It's a maritime admiralty manifest showing that your mother brought you into the world and you were going to make money. Anything in this country, if it's a lawful legal document of any kind, your name must be, according to maritime law, be in all capital letters. Why? Because you do not own your body. You do not own yourself. All capital letters name implies that you are a maritime admiralty product. You are not a human. You're not a living entity. You are a product. You're a living entity person. The actual you is represented under law by upper and lowercase name. So you are a corporation whether you know it or not, but you are merely a subsidiary of a larger corporation called United States. This is the way the law works.
Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.
Aloha, everyone, and welcome to the Prosperity Playground, where we transcend fear and we level up into a higher consciousness, one that's beyond fear and ego and the matrix, MSM, the media. We are the news, the alternate media. And thank you so much for all of your support. Allison is overwhelmed and quite grateful, because if it weren't for you, she wouldn't be eating or paying insurance or taking care of her daily needs. And we really appreciate all of your donations. And I think Allison might want to come on and say thank you herself before we move on. Aloha, Allison.
Aloha, Nancy. I am so grateful to everyone who has contributed. That is, oh, like she said, I'm just overwhelmed. I don't normally operate this way. I've never done it like nonprofit kind of thing, but it felt right, and I knew it was right, and obviously Source has made a way. God knows I didn't have a clue, and so he gave me a clue. You come and help these people and get the word out and make sure the truth is heard. So I appreciate everything. Just the good vibes helps me. I that's wonderful. But of course, you know, we do have to eat, and we do have to have a roof over our heads and stuff like that too. But this has been a blessing. Thank you so much for letting me get to be a part of it. It's an honor.
It's it's fundamentals, isn't it? It's just like, okay, we just, as long as we have that shelter, and it's nice to have indoor running water and hot water and, simple things in life.
It's been a test of faith, but the more I just assume that I don't know how it's going to work. I have no clue. I didn't know how I was going to move 4.5 hours away by myself. That was a trick, but you know what? I'm here. Like, I think in Phil's live last night, he said, we didn't think we'd make it 6 more months, and it's 4 years later almost, and we're still here.
Yes, yes, yes.
As I always say, hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Thank you so much for all that you create. Yeah, people, if you want to know what's really going on, watch the videos in between the shows that Allison is posting. Mr. Truth Bombs are amazing and excellent. And for us, it's like a review plus some nuggets that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
So
it kind of fills in blanks. And I just went and did another research deep dive last night, which is why I stayed up late last night, got carried away. But I found some goodies, and Mr. Truth Bomb still has some to come. But there are some other documentaries that came out that I'm excited to share with everyone. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Miss Allison. We're so grateful for you. And you, the viewers, oh my gosh, the letters and the notes and the texts all are coming in from Facebook, from YouTube and Rumble and Telegram. We love it when you bring your voice. Of course, we love it that you love the show. But what do you love about the show? And you can write to me at nancy@nancykerner.com and join the Telegram group, because we really want to encourage the dialogue and connection of people in the community, because we're laying the foundation of trust for when we're stepping up and stepping in to serve as we are being called to as the humanitarians. And so we have some hellos to say before I go into anything else. Allison, do you want to do the hellos? Do you want to post those up there? Would you like me to? I don't want to double click on things.
I wasn't sure. Let's see. Let me pull it up with Mr. Curly. He was here first. He's awesome. Everybody's awesome. He always pops in. And then
Aloha, Curly.
and then we have Anthony.
Aloha, Anthony. My sisters, he
Let
says.
me remind
Aloha,
my
my
camera.
sisters.
I don't know what my camera's doing. Maybe I should just turn it off for right now. And then we have Jocelyn.
Aloha, Jocelyn. Good to see you.
Oh, and Colleen. To keep up, hey? We know that.
Aloha, Colleen. This is our sister in Canada who has been telling all of her little community, powerful, mighty little community, to come on over and hang out with us. And we appreciate you and we love your community. We love the people you're bringing. They're amazing. Mary Jones, aloha, Nancy and Allison. Good to see you today too, Miss Mary. Awesome. We love it. And then we also have, I don't know that Allison can share those, but we'll say aloha on Rumble
Yeah.
to our Rumble sisters that are showing up. By the way, we have about half of our donors are men. We have men coming to the community and they are amazing. And I don't want to call out their names because they're donors. I don't want to embarrass any donors. I just want to say you men are writing the most incredible notes about your life and yourself and your family and how long you've been deep diving too. And we welcome you. We need the men. You are our container so that we women can feel safe within that container. It's kind of like a flagpole. We dance around that flag. The women are standing up and the men are holding the container and space for us. So thank you for that.
I love the divine masculine. Hallelujah.
And so aloha to her Wooness, another British Columbia, Canada friend, and to Ravenheart in Wyoming. And of course, we have the Crystal Lady Creations in British Columbia. And so thank you for coming on and saying aloha to us. Hello, wherever you're from. We so appreciate and value you. Now, I want to read something on that, yeah, the C word, the positive C word. Before Allison pops this up here, I just want to say that I've been on this personal, self-empowering, spiritual, intuitive awakening for 35 years. And part of the seminar work that was the Landmark Forum. And I went to the initial Landmark Forum with my husband. Then our sons went to a teenagers Landmark Forum at that time, so many years ago. I think it was in about 2000, the year 2000 or 1999, because I was trying to find courage to open up my practice. This called the Women's Room in Monroe, Washington, a holistic health and counseling practice for women. And I wanted the courage. And I was focusing on that word. And then Landmark had an advanced course coming up. So that was my intention, was to pay the money, go to that seminar and find courage to open the Women's Room, which I did. So this is about courage today. Really want to share that. Do I add it to the stage, Allison, or do you add it to the stage? There we go. All right. Let me see if I can read this. Yes. Okay. I saw this on Facebook yesterday and it was so appropriate. If you are unsure who to trust in these confusing times, trust the courageous ones. Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Trust the courageous ones. Trust requires courage. Courage requires fortitude. Trust requires integrity. Cowards tell lies. Cowards support liars. Telling a lie is easy. Believing a lie is easy. Being compliant is easy. Staying silent is easy. Trusting without thinking is easy. Trusting without trusting for yourself is hard. Standing up for what is right is hard. Being real and authentic is hard. In times like these, it takes all the courage in the world to question the status quo and to speak up and tell the truth. Trust the courageous. So thank you for that, Allison. You are a powerful and prosperous, courageous person. And in a few minutes, I'm going to say a few things first, but in a few minutes, we're going to highlight the most courageous men. They happen to be men. Nothing against women. The women are in there playing too, but these powerful men are paving the way and had to make challenging. I prefer the word challenging than hard. However, hard is hard. Challenging means that we've never been here before. And we're going to test our courage in a situation, environment, or experience that gives us that courage to expand our thinking in the most challenging of situations, to be that light in the calm in the middle of the storm. So, one thing that I wanted to do was let you know a couple of things before we go on this deep dive of courage. Oops, that's the wrong one. Pardon me. I'm so sexy trying to find there's my notes. Okay, so just to let you know, Mark Z, real quick update on Mark Z. Oh my gosh, go watch his show from this morning. He took his beautiful Trek um, all-purpose wheelchair machine out onto the beach in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and put his toes in the sand for the first time in years. And I get choked up because, I haven't been to Hawaii in 4 years, and think of all the years that Mark didn't think he'd be putting his toes in the sand. And yet it was from CBD gurus and all the donors who bought products. All the proceeds went to pay for this 30 plus $1,000 wheelchair. And I was thinking of getting a clip on it, but please go support Mark Z. He does the best news. He does it about 10 minutes into his shows after all the ads and all of that happened. And he does the best world news coverage of anyone. And he does it twice a day, Monday through Friday, and then on Saturday mornings. So congratulations to Mark Z. You are someone we trust, love, and look up to. Now, another thing that Mark Z did was he had Sheila on his show. We don't know her last name. We don't know her history and background, but he's going to have her back. She's ready to start speaking up now because we're so close to the RV. So if you listen to his, I believe it was Friday night, right before we went out of town, him and Dr. Scott, and then towards the end of the show, there's a good segment on there with Sheila. A little challenging to hear at times, but she's been working within the RV and the White Hats since 2013. So she's one of the wisest people who knows what's going on. And I will, Mark did say, and what she and him are collaborating on is agreeing that a number of chatter of the bond notices going out this last weekend to be paid out between the 15th and 22nd. Some enormous confirmations came in over the weekend. And he also announced that Denmark is announcing that they're going to join the BRICS and go have some gold backed currency. Now, if you're anybody in this movement who does the deep dives and diggings, once they make the announcement to us, it's already been done. It's kind of like the dark to light with all the patriots and the Q drops and the military codes. They don't show us things unless it's already done. That's why it's taken for almost 4 years to get through this movie, because it's organically happening. Some things are this year is absolutely no questions asked. We all knew that it was a possibility we could go all the way up to the November 5th election, but there's many of us who don't believe we're going that make it that far, that it's something big's going to happen sooner. And last night, Phil said before July, which totally makes sense because we've got some things coming up and we're going to touch on those. Yet I was listening to Alex Collier, and I really admire Alex Collier. If you haven't ever listened to him, he's out of the box. I'm already out of the box with you, and we're all out of the box with Q drops. Yet Alex talks about being a contactee of the Andromedan race. And so I'm not going to go into his history and background, but he was really bringing in some things that I felt important to pass on to you, because he's saying there will be a power gap when this system collapses. One day, in our generation to the next, there will not be a monetary system. How long that takes, we don't know. Will it be in our generation or our children's generation? We don't know all those details yet. However, he's asking us, and this is what we keep asking, how will you serve humanity? Imagine everyone giving and receiving unconditionally with love. How incredible would that feel to you? Much like Allison being on the receiving end right now to support her continuing to go. It feels so good to give and to receive. And we do live in a defunct civilization right now, not by our fault. It was defunct because of the controllers of the world, and they have been watching us. The a lot of people call them galactics, have been watching us to see how would we rise up if we were given an opportunity to be able to take our power back over our lives, to be sovereign, and get out of the matrix and this terrible taxation system of slavery that if you don't think you're a slave, then you really are because you don't know what you don't know yet. And it's time to take that deep dive. So rebuilding humanity needs to occur on all levels in order for us to survive. Many civilizations have not survived what we're under right now. And people tend to be self-destructive. Just look around you and of course do your personal inventory taking, because we have made the choices for everything we do, from our health to our medical care, to our freedom in taxes, to being a victim or being proactive in creating through our thoughts, minds, feelings, healing the past, to be 100% fully present right now, right here on the Prosperity Consciousness Playground. We signed up for this, and that's really important to remember. So I think it's a good time to really reflect on, why do you think you were chosen to be receiving this information and to listening to it? Are you here to spread the news and the word about health? I have a son who's sick today. I'm going to leave after the show and take him, our protocol of what we use when we get sick. And I was with him and my granddaughters over the weekend, having a fantastic weekend at the dirt bike motocross monster races. My son did well. My granddaughters did well. I was a proud grandma. I was even out there throwing the football for the kids. Like Joe Namath, I know how to put a spiral on it because I grew up with 4 brothers. What can I say? I was a tomboy. I didn't want to be a boy. I wanted to play with the boys. They were fun. So when we were at the track, something happened. And Chris was there. Thank you for joining us, Chris. Aloha. So grateful you could join us at the track. And the sirens went off, and it was like an air raid drill. And they would go off periodically. And I said, Chris, what's that? And he goes, I don't know. I've never heard that before. And I'm asking other people, is there a local airport here? Well, not really. No military airports or anything. And I kept asking people throughout the day when I'd run into somebody new. And so what I discovered was Monster, the drink, those awful drinks, who promoted the event before they start the pro races, because there's different classes. They've got little girls and women's, and anyways, before they'd start the pro class, they'd do the sirens. And so I'm not going, are we having our EBS while I'm here? And I'd look at my phone, nothing. So just know that, my antennas are up and I'm paying attention. I have to laugh at myself because it is, it's very serious times that we're in, cleaning up the underground dams. Earthquakes aren't an act of nature. They're an intended event. And these earthquakes that we saw, 4 or 5 earthquakes from the East Coast to California, these are intentional. They're cleaning up the underground, deep underground military bases and rescuing children. And when the children are all cleared and out, then they blow them up. And they have to do this so that nobody can use these dirty, disgusting, nefarious tunnels to kidnap children, adults, and whoever. So with that, now what we're going to go into today is a background on what Allison and I were watching. And I'd like to know in the chat if you were watching these events happen. And so we begin with November 5th, or whatever date it was, 5th, 6th, 7th. I don't remember the date of the election in 2020. Yet those of us who were already awake and aware, it wasn't hard to see that the election had been interfered with in big ways, in all ways. And so we were like in shock and awe going, how are they going to pull this out? They've got to make this right. They've got to check the electorates. They've got to, they gotta. In our minds, we're like waiting for them to overturn things with all the evidence. And when that didn't happen, and then we moved into November, certain things began to take place within the cabinet of Donald J. Trump before he left office. And so here we go. We're going to go over some of these events and some of these people. You ready, Allison?
Let's do it. I don't know if my camera's going to agree, but we'll do it anyway.
Oh, I have to blow my nose. Can you do this first one?
I certainly can. Absolutely. Well, Phil started off with this post, and it says, it wasn't a lieutenant, it was General O'Shaughnessy, the commander of NORAD and U.S. Northcom. He happens to be working with Elon and Starlink. Actually, he says down here at the bottom, that's incorrect. It's NORAD's General Van Herk, pictured above with Chris Miller. And this is a little better picture of it. So that's Van Herk at NORAD with Miller. Okay. And then let's see. We have General Glenn Van Herk, that low down on him, Commander, NORAD, U.S. Northcom. This man was in a very unique position to stop the White Hat's plan of devolution and continuity of government. They needed him. And by the time they trusted him, it would have been too late to turn back. Remember this face. He may have saved humanity by doing what he did. That's pretty substantial.
Very substantial. He had to make that decision. And then we're going to go on to Christopher Miller. Go ahead. You're doing such a brilliant job reading.
Thank you. Meet Christopher C. Miller, the former acting Secretary of Defense. Secretary of Defense Miller was promoted by President Donald John Trump on November 9th, 2020. Look at that date, November 9th, 2020. So right after the election. Why appoint Miller several days after the lost, quote unquote, election? Interesting. And then we have good old Ezra and Cash. November 11th, 2 days later, 2020, involved the promotion of two more Trump allies, Kash Patel, Chief of Staff for Acting Secretary of Defense Miller, and Ezra Cohen Watnick, Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence, UDI, the top Pentagon civilian overseeing intelligence. Why promote three individuals to these posts when your presidential term is about to lapse in the next 60 days?
Things that make you say, why was he appointing these people?
I don't know. Then we have Miller. Ezra was first brought into the NSC by General Michael T. Flynn. He has experience with the DIA, CIA, Defense Clandestine Service, and the NSC. Secretary of Defense Miller was asked to implement something that had never been done before. The fate of the United States of America is hanging in the balance based on the success of this one operation. He literally had the weight of the world on his shoulders.
Oof.
That's heavy. So he turned to the people he knew he could trust to get the job done. These units specialize in protecting against subversion, lawlessness, insurgency, terrorism, and other threats to their internal security and stability and legitimacy, end quote. This is exactly the group you want to run a devolution operation.
Say what? A what operation?
Devolution, like
Devolution.
take apart in 1,000 pieces.
Beautifully said.
And this was the post. He says, want the answer to quote, who is running things right now, if not DJ Donald John Trump? Here you go. And this is a up close of the map, Unified Combatant Command's area of responsibility. So you've got Functional Combat Command, U.S. Southern Command, Northern, U.S. Africa Command, European Command, and U.S. Indo-Pacific Command. And then it breaks it down to the men who controlled those.
So one moment, please. Can you put that map back up? Because this is what, oh my goodness, I can't think of his name. He's over in Europe and we've played him several times. Well, he was telling us that there were like 800 generals around the world that were working together on all these command centers. So thank you so much for that, Miss Allison. She's cleaning the camera.
To cooperate. It's like freaking out for some reason. Anyway, you want me to move on to the next one?
Sure. So this was not just a DJT in his command center. This was a global command center.
This was just a better up close of the gentleman that it was saying, or in command of each of those. The U.S. Space Command is James H. Dickinson. Then the dates
yeah. Thank you.
It's August 20th, 2020.
Yeah.
So, and then you've got the 30th of April, 2021. Oh, and this is John C. Aquino over the Indo-Pacific Command. You've got Kenneth McKenzie Jr., March 28th, 2019, over the Central Command. You've got Stephen J. Townsend, 26th of July, 2019, over the Africa Command.
And these last ones were generals. So these are generals.
I think they're all generals, right? Oh, that's an admiral.
There's an admiral.
Sorry, my apologies. Right. Admiral Aquino, however you say his name. General McKenzie, General Townsend. Oh, I think I have him in there twice, don't I? Anyway, that's March 28th. That's 2019. And Townsend, General. And then European Command, May 3rd, 2019, General Todd Wolters. And North Command was Van Herk. We already saw him. Remember his face, right?
He's younger than me.
Yeah, he's younger than me too by 1 year. And then this is the post that talks about, it says, the four COCOMs are designated as functional, meaning they are responsible for a clearly defined specific type of operation, etc., but across all geographical and spatial lines. For example, cyber, quote unquote, or quote, special operations, end quote. Operating worldwide across geographic boundaries allows the functional COCOMs to provide unique capabilities to the geographic COCOMs. The combatant commanders of the functional COCOMs are listed above, along with the dates they took office. So we have Stephen Lyons, General. These are, again, generals or admirals. General Lyons, August 24th, 2018. We have Admiral Charles Richard on November 18th, 2019. We have General Nakasone, May 4th of 2018, and General Clark of March 29th, 2019. So nothing but generals and admirals. It's the highest of them. Creme de la creme. Let's see. And then we have this one with Miller and Van Herk. A reporter asked, yeah, so I guess at Northcom, like, what were you hoping to see? Said Miller, I needed to look the commander in the eye because, the president, secretary of defense, me, whatever the correct English is, you guys can clean that up. Should have paid more attention in high school. My wife would be ashamed of me not knowing the proper preposition. And then General Van Herk, General D. Van Herk, an Air Force general, leads the U.S. Northern Command. And then Phil popped in and said, "You want to read this one, dear?"
Phil said, I needed to look this is what Miller said. I needed to look the commander in the eye. What a very interesting and telling quote from Chris Miller. General Van Herk, then commander of U.S. Northern Command, could have stopped devolution at this exact moment. He did not. We proceeded, and the individuals listed above carried it out. I have truth bumps all over my legs right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just got God chills everywhere.
And, for me, I would have done the same thing. I need to look people in the eye. I need to feel their energy and see if their heart is open or closed just by looking in the eyes. I so honor that he did that.
Me too.
Huge props to Patel Patriot, who is John Harold, for the very detailed information / synopsis regarding devolution. John and I are not friends, and he's publicly made some terrible comments about me. But regardless of that, his work is top notch. Yes, it is. He's the one who walked us through the continuity of government and devolution itself. So powerful.
So he had this post beneath it, I guess. Do you see the owl badge that is on his uniform? Remember when Phil did a pop-up live with the badge and we noticed the owl in the badge? Is this the badge Phil was referring to? And this is a little more up close of it. It's supposed to be, I think there's more up close. It's a little fuzzy, unfortunately, but I don't get why they have an owl other than it's the cabal trying to infiltrate the police force. I don't know. I kind of see an owl here with tail feathers, maybe. I don't know. Interesting.
I don't know. All I can think of is they're owl hunters. They're the Masonic 333. All of those symbols. Oh, I love this picture from last night's live. Okay, so that look is one of shock or surprise. And what does his shirt say? Supreme. So what is he signaling to us, Miss Allison?
Well, he said something about the Supreme Court. No?
The Brunson case is on a docket, and we're just, this is going to be part of the information that's going to come out in its divine time and appointment. We know they already ruled on it a couple of years ago, and we know the vote was 9-0 in favor of declaring there was election interference and fraud. We know that already took place, but what people don't know watching this is that we had to be in this last 3.5 years, however long, devolution of government to get rid of the illegal United States corporation, all the bad players, rescue the children. I mean, there's so much, there's a scroll this long of what needed to happen so that we didn't go into civil war. If they would have announced this 2 years ago, you still see people believing in the mainstream media. They're still anti-Trump, anti any of us who are telling the truth. And we don't care. We have courage. And yet one thing that I read was, be careful about the conspiracy rabbit holes you go down. And I'm thinking, come on, people, join us. Go down these rabbit holes. You're going to find out and discover the truth about everything. Our history's a lie. These elections have been rigged for a long time. They're not elected presidents. They're appointed presidents. And it all stops. And Phil is exposing it all, being Snowden, Snow White. Hello. We love our Phil. And it doesn't matter what you say and what his role is. You got to just trust your intuitive intelligence system. He has been guiding and leading Anons, truthers, podcasters. He has the #1 podcast because we trust the intel that he's giving us. And we're at the end of today's show. Allison's going to show his documentary, what do you call that? A trailer, so that he can tell you what really happened with JFK. And I get truth bumps every time I watch that trailer, Allison.
Yes, it's amazing. I'm going to be putting that up for sure. I love it. Let's see what we have from here.
We have a little Patriot Princess. Is that what?
Yes, sir. Ma'am. Blah, blah, blah. Say that back 3 times. Set it up a little better because I think she just started and I want to make sure it's
okay
at the beginning.
Isn't Allison doing a great job? Oh my gosh. And looking so beautiful with her locks.
You're so sweet. Thank you. That's
pretty in pink.
Let's see what Miss Patriot Princess has to say. Get it right.
Virginia is about the tunnels bringing
Patriot Princess.
Play.
Why do the best ideas come in the shower? I know this explosion in Virginia is about the tunnels, bringing light to the tunnels and the children and the trafficking, but I cannot get over the fact that it's in
sorry. I'm so sorry.
Sterling, silver, Sterling, Virginia. This is not leaving my mind. I know this is a comm. This is a distraction because silver is about to explode. What are we looking at? An explosion, a psyop. Silver is about to explode. And look at, Phil posted about 7K and PSI before the explosion even happened. He was trying to give you a hint. What are those companies for? Silver. Where did the explosion happen? Sterling, Virginia, Sterling silver.
Total devastation.
And it makes me think of Paul Revere. Paul Revere was one of the most regarded silversmiths during the Revolutionary War. And he warned everybody, the British are coming. Is this a warning as well? Look into Paul Revere. He was a patriot and the most regarded silversmith of the Revolutionary War time. He was an engraver and he was a member of the Sons of Liberty. He's famous for his midnight ride to alert the colonial militia. Midnight. What time did this explosion happen? Midnight. What time was Taylor Swift's clock set on her choker? Midnight. What time is silver gonna explode? Taylor Swift, Super Bowl. Gold shall destroy the Fed. San Francisco representing gold. And Kansas City Chiefs representing the Fed. Who won the Super Bowl? Who was in the audience of the Super Bowl? Who was the Super Bowl rigged for? Kansas City. They don't want the gold to destroy the Fed. The baddies rig all the sports games. The baddies control the market, control the stock market. They control our currency. They control our Federal Reserve. They control what silver is worth and gold is worth. They manipulate it. This false flag explosion is a comm for the wealth transfer that's about to happen. Once silver explodes and goes up in value, all the banks crash. Paul Revere, he's famous for his midnight ride to alert the colonial militia in April 1775. April. I think April will be significant. Read the Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's poem. Look at the properties of silver from the periodic table. Look at the numbers. Drop the 0, that's a 17. Silver. Silver is key. What else is silver used in? In the med beds, in Tesla technology. Tesla. Just ask why. Always ask why. Why were the baddies trying so hard to suppress silver? Because it has healing properties. Because it has free energy capabilities. And don't forget about JFK's Executive Order 11110. This was made to give the currency back to the American people, to print money based on a silver standard, which would take power away from the Federal Reserve banking cartel. And don't forget about the Clinton crime family and what they did in Haiti. They mined and pillaged the gold, silver, and copper mineralization belt in Haiti. And don't forget about Damascus, Virginia. My video, The Road to Damascus. Ohio, the Ohio River was once called the River Jordan. And the Underground Railroad was called the Road to Damascus to free the slaves. Ohio, the trains, it's all connected. Remember, Q says this is biblical? We are Israel. We are standing on holy ground here in the US. I know this explosion is about the children and the tunnels, and it's a psyop, but just look further. I believe that it's a calm towards silver. Silver exploding. Stay frosty, Patriots.
Patriot Princess.
This is so exciting. Okay, so if you haven't seen yet, silver has just reached 28 something, like 28.30, and gold is going or just hit 2,300 an ounce. So the silver and gold suppression is about to be unleashed. And this is what we've been waiting for. My husband and I've been waiting for decades to see silver suppression be lifted. And this is epic. So if you haven't bought your silver, of course, I suggest that if you're not like a 7K metals holder, go. Sorry, I had turned up my volume. I'm going to turn it down so you don't hear every breath I take as much. Where was I? Yeah, waiting decades. Hello.
You were talking about silver. Like you were, go ahead. I'm sorry. I just was trying to help you get back.
Well, just that it's been manipulated forever and controlled so that we couldn't be free sovereign citizens and human beings and use silver for all that it was meant to be. One is to hold as currency, silver and gold. And another thing is, it was when my son had his, took a fall yesterday or over the weekend. I don't even know what day is this. It's Tuesday. I got out my micronic silver and he rubbed it on his wounded areas. And people have no idea. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, what is that lotion or potion? They don't realize the healing properties that are in products like micronic silver, in the med beds, in the frequency healing. Oh my gosh, I put this on my son. I put the wave watch on him and he wore it for hours. And and he had ice on. I have this cooler I got from Costco, and it's a cooler. And then it has these ice packs you slide in the back zipper and keeps them in there, keeps the food cold for a couple of days. And so I'm like whipping out my ice pack from the cooler and giving it to my son. He's shoving it down his pants for his hip area because he actually dislocated his hip and then rolled over after he took that crash. He ran into somebody who squirreled in front of him and crashed, and so he couldn't do anything but crash into him. And so he had dislocated his hip, and I'm like, that's what I deal with occasionally, dislocating my hips when I trip or stumble, or one of my grand doggies trips me. And so I rub that micronic silver on, I put on the wave watch, I ice. And so hopefully our younger generation is taking note that there are alternatives to fluorides in our toothpaste. If you're still giving your children fluoride toothpaste, it calcifies the pineal gland, which is like the third eye and the connection to source, to God, to spirit. It's our gateway to intuition, and it's where we get our higher frequency information. So fluoride bad. Make sure you've got water filters in your home to get rid of that fluoride out of your water if you're still on city drinking water. What do you think, Allison? Any thoughts?
Oh, heavens, yes. I haven't been on fluoridated water in probably 30 years or more. I've been drinking distilled water or filtered water. Now I use the zero filter, but it's imperative to do that. Hey, there's Chris.
Aloha, Chris. It was so wonderful to see your family. I was tempted to throw pictures up of you and your beautiful family, but I won't, because I know that everyone needs their anonymity. Chris is grown up with my
Yeah.
son, good buddies, best friends, and we were over in his hood. And when we are, he comes out to watch. So aloha to
Oh,
Tammy. Pardon me, go ahead.
well, I was just going to say one other thing about the water. I actually decided that since I'm brushing my teeth, I don't want to put any tap water in my mouth to rinse out. So I started making up I have a little jug of water that I made up that has salt in it. And because I've had some gum issues, I was trying to pump up my gums. And between using the salt water to rinse, and I use oregano and clove with a little olive oil at night and swish around and let it sit. So I sleep with that on my teeth at night, because oregano is a natural, very, very powerful antibiotic and heals any kind of infections or whatever. And then clove is just good for the gums. So it's a good little, getting away from the tap water was my point. I literally don't put any in my mouth at all, not even to rinse.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, you have some fans. Her Wuna says you are like gold to us, Allison. Without you, we wouldn't be here.
Aw,
And yeah.
my honor. I'm thrilled that I get to be here. But
And Ravenheart says she uses Kangen water for the win.
absolutely.
Beautiful. Yeah, my husband ordered something off of Alex Jones' website, and so we use that water system. And I saw a big copper one, big copper water system. So there's lots of them out there. Use your own discretion on your pricing and what you can. We don't offer any water filters here, so
No.
if you see someone who does, I think that Ravenheart might be offering the Kangen. She's over on Rumble. So yeah, thank you, Miss Allison. Pardon me?
We could do a whole show on water, I think, at some point. Oh, you're welcome, Anthony. Thank you.
Yes, and if you want to email me, here's my email address. If you have any questions, comments, I really am enjoying getting to know everybody over there who's been writing me. We're what I have been creating over the past 35 years is connection in communities and cultivating communities, being a part of communities, learning from the communities, and then co-creating communities with my partners, with Myra Merkel, Canadian in Canada, when she joined me when I was creating the You Are a Powerful Woman's Retreat to help take our power back. Ooh, I'd sure love to read that poem that I wrote when starting that. The poem Imagine. I don't know if you can find that in Canva or not. Before the end of the show, we're not going to be on here too much longer. We're going to go ahead and play some we did Patriot Princess. Oh, we've got the ZiG currency. Oh my goodness, this is coming out of Zimbabwe. This is so cool. Are you ready, Miss Allison?
I wasn't sure if you saw the Zimbabwe article. Did you want that at all? You want me to cover first or after?
After the video, that would be lovely. Thank you.
You got it.
It's a great article.
Okay, it's on the screen, right?
No.
Okay, not on the screen. That would help, Gillette. Okay, got it. We'll get there.
Patriot.
Oh,
and 200 ZiG. Thank you.
This is so exciting because we were told that Israel will be last to bring out their new currency, and we are Israel. If you look at the old maps, you will find that out. So it's so fantastic to see the people in Zimbabwe bringing out the ZiG, capital Z, lowercase I, capital G. And now we have the lovely, divine Miss Allison to bring up that article.
okay. Zimbabwe launches new gold-backed currency. ZiG. I love that name. It reminds me of Ziggy. Zimbabwe has introduced a new gold-backed currency called ZiG. The name stands for Zimbabwe Gold. Yes, it is the latest attempt to stabilize an economy that has lurched from crisis to crisis for the past 25 years. Unveiling the new notes, Central Bank Governor John Mushamihana said the ZiG would be structured and set at a market-determined exchange rate. I love that. The ZiG replaces a Zimbabwean dollar, the RTGS, that had lost 3/4 of its value so far. Annual inflation in March reached 55%, a 7-month high. And I think the main thing from this, was that a lot of people were confused that this was the ZIM that we as currency investors bought. That is totally separate. Those are considered, are they not bonds? Yes.
Well, the next line says the Zimbabweans have 21 days to exchange the old inflation hit notes, and that would be the 100T, et cetera. So locally, they're exchanging those. We're not yet. Don't go run into your bank and ask them to exchange your ZIMs.
Right. I wanted to point that out before I actually, yeah. So, however, the US dollar, which accounts for 85% of transactions, will remain legal tender, and most people are likely to continue to prefer this. The new ZiG banknotes come in denominations between 1 and 200. Coins will also be introduced to overcome the shortage of US coins, which has seen people receive change in sweets, small chocolates, and pens. Okay.
They're bartering with what they have.
And he said the new currency was being rolled out with immediate effect, and banks must convert current Zimbabwean dollars to the ZiG. He committed to ensuring that the amount of local currency in circulation was backed by equivalent value in precious minerals, mainly gold, or foreign exchange, in order to prevent the currency losing value like its predecessors. Zimbabweans have a historic mistrust of the central bank, I wonder why, dating back to 2008 when it was printing Zim $10 trillion notes, I think. Is that what that means? While inflation had run out of control. It then abolished its own currency and for many years only used foreign banknotes such as the US dollar and the South African rand. And in late 2016, the body introduced a new currency called the bond note that was backed by the US dollar loan facility. The then central bank governor, John Mangudya, vowed it would remain on a par with the US dollar, but the bond note crashed when the government began printing excess money. Sounds familiar. Promises have now been made by the central bank's new governor that overprinting will not be allowed to happen again. Hallelujah. But public reaction on Friday to the latest currency reveal has been subdued. We now end up in the same place where we started, where assurances are being given to the market that the government will live within its means, economist Godfrey Kanzini told the BBC. The political culture has not changed. The critical point is discipline on the part of the authorities. The announcement of the new currency comes as the country is grappling with the effects of a serious drought, which has destroyed half of the country's crop of the staple food, maize. Wow. Big news.
It is big news, and they've also established their own in-country banks, decoupled from the central banks, so that they could protect their finances moving forward, which is going to be the theme across the world. And with us, we will be decoupling from the U.S. Fiat dollar, oil for war dollar, the one that runs the media, the military, the Mossad media, and big pharma, everything. And so as that gets decoupled, then we will see when we go through the process they're going through, we will have the brand new USTN, the United States Treasury note, because as we saw in the Reese report, there was he was telling us about the straw man, actually, by telling us they would need to get rid of admiralty law, because that's the one where they're trading our birth certificates since we're born in capital letters as a corporation. This is very important for those of you who really are interested in Asara Jasara, so that they cannot use us as chattel anymore. And we will be free sovereign human beings as they make that transition and the devolution of the government, and then usher in the new restored republic with brand new elections. All of the government employees in Congress need to step down, new elections, new president, new vice president, new Congress, new Senates. They're all the corrupt old corporation goes away, and those are the elections we're going to see sometime this summer, maybe. We don't know the when. We just know that this is what we're leading to, right, Allison?
Absolutely. We have a few comments here. I thought we might, a couple of questions, if you don't mind, before we.
Great.
Tammy wants to know where she can get Myconic silver. I think
that's on my website, right? Yeah. It's in a little jar, and you can get 10% off there.
Just go to the resources tab.
Thank you.
It's on that.
NancyKerner.com.
Yes. And then let's see. Oh, Mary, thank you so much for saying so. You're so adorable. I appreciate you too. She says, I really appreciate the information you so really share with the community. Love, love, love to do it. And I think we already answered this basically. Our currency, we don't know yet.
No.
We're talking about the ones we have reports on.
We've seen pictures, and I don't think they're the real ones. I don't think the way that our beautiful administration under Trump has worked has been with the Art of War by Sun Tzu, and they do not reveal anything. They do not say, yeah, here's the red line. If you cross it, we're going in. They don't, they behave in a way of integrity and honor and complete silence until it's divine appointment to release information.
So wise, so wise. And Mary says, this is just the beginning of the authentication of ZIM bonds. Woohoo!
And Sheila mentioned that on the show on Mark Z on Friday afternoon. I hope that you will go watch his evening show because she says, so what's the best way? Somebody said, so wouldn't there be bad actors coming in with a lot of Zim bonds to trade it, to transfer and redeem? And she said, well, what would be the best way to find out who's bad and who's good? Through the interview process when they go to Reno, when they're bringing their suitcases, the whales of all of their Zim bonds, that's where they're doing the cleanup. So you may have heard about people who weren't able to go fully into redemption because they figured out that these were bad actors. So as long as the process takes to keep it clean and pure, I'm okay with that.
Absolutely clean and clear. And Sylvia just says, I'm so grateful for you, Sylvia. Thank you, Allison. So happy we all have you and Nancy. Me too. Nancy's been amazing to me and helping every which way. I couldn't ask for a better partner in all throughout all of this. It's been an amazing journey. I'm excited to see it unfold.
And thank you, Sylvia. Wink, wink. I got your message and we appreciate you.
Ever so much. I believe there was something else I was going to point out, but I will pop off and let you wrap up if you'd like. I think that's all the questions we had. Let me double check. If you have any questions at all, just email Nancy at nancykerner.com and we will get back to you. Oh, I did want to mention, that's what it was. I wanted to mention that I will be, whenever Phil has a live this week, he said Wednesday, I believe. Thursday or Friday?
Friday. If not Friday, then Saturday.
Regardless, whenever he does, you can always come to Nancy's channel and we'll have a watch party set up this week. It's going to be good.
It is going to be good. And just an FYI, while you're still here, I wanted to let you people know that Mark Z is going to be traveling. He's going to go to a PPN event. He'll be connecting with Charlie Ward there. And then after that, I don't know if he goes straight from there to Brazil. So he's going to be traveling over the next couple of weeks. And remember what Sylvia and Mark Z said it towards the end of that podcast on Friday night. And that is that we'll be able to go shopping by the end of April. So end of April, 1st of May. They wouldn't say that if they didn't know what they know. And we really encourage you to watch Mark Z's show because that's so much information. And we're just giving you little snippets to let you know we're moving forward.
Absolutely. I have to share this last one. Mary just popped in to give a little love note. Isn't that sweet? I love you both, and I'm so excited for beautiful things to come. It is a beautiful time to be alive. Absolutely, Mary. Looking forward to possibly getting to meet up with you here. She's close to me, within 65 miles.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's an hour drive at 65 miles an hour.
That's nothing in this area near Houston. I think if you just go down the corner in Houston, it takes an hour. It's like
right. Same as Seattle. It's crazy. Thank you, Allison, for everything. Aloha, aloha, aloha. Okay, so, here's my candle. First of all, I just want to say, let there be peace on earth with the peace wand and the crystals, and let it begin with me. And that's what my mission is to bring the peace and the truth. And I am not afraid of people who say anything derogatory or negative about me because it's not about me. This is about truth. And I'm so super grateful that you are here, that you support us with your comments and emails and donations and Wave Watch. Those of you who know how the healing power these have, they're amazing. And so as we move forward, my mission is going to shift and combine my gifts of having retreats in Hawaii and 35 years of experience in circles and communities and bridge the gap. We're going to have a power gap, as Alex said, and we're going to bridge the gap because some of this information and technology that we're going to be moving into may be distributed through the alternative media, people who've been taking a stand, who have wisdom and experience, and who are examples of being peaceful warriors. We are in a war. We're in an information war. We're in a control war. We're in a war over our freedom. And I'm not a person who likes war at all. As a child, I wondered, why do we have war? How can people kill each other? I didn't get it. And now I do. It was controlled. It was to keep us afraid, enslaved, and unempowered. And I broke the shackles of fear and shame. 35 years ago was that beginning, and I continue to do it today, to recognize that it's not about me. I'm not taking it personally, what people who disagree with me say, because we need to be able to have a conversation about our history. How can we know what's truth and what's bullshit if our history books were written by these evildoers, these cabal, Satanist worshipers, and they're self-declared. They'll tell you they believe in Satan. And whether you do or not, it doesn't matter. That's a whole very uncomfortable conversation for me. Yet all I do is shine a light on the truth and go with my heart. If we return to love, the true power is within our hearts. We can have compassion for people who are still asleep. We can have empathy for those who are challenged between living in the duality of the worlds that we are navigating right now. And there's so much more than we are being told. And so it's going to be the greatest awakening in so many ways. People are going to be shocked when they go to the bank and it may be closed. The stock market went down 500 points. Was that yesterday or the day before? And now, then it goes back up a little and then it's going to go down. It's going down a little bit now. And so this AI generated market from Aladdin, one day it's not going to be there. We're going to have a completely different system. We're going to be able to invest in companies directly instead of going through the markets. We're going to have control through the quantum financial system, whatever they choose to launch that name. We're just using it as a working title or working name. We're going to be able to invest in our cryptos and trade cryptos and invest in other people's businesses, like I said, directly. This is going to be very exciting because you're going to have money. You will get it from Nasara Jasara, even if you are like in the 30 to 60-year-old realm where you may be required to continue working to get your Nasara payments if you're under the age of 60, 62, because those of us older will get ours all at once. But we need a working community. I want to say working class. I don't like that. So if you're still in the age of work, you can start your own businesses, whether it's a network marketing business or a local business or a farm or a farmer's market, sharing your goods and services, whether it's massage or food or clothing or blankets, whatever it is. Everyone has a gift, and it's up to you to go within and connect with your higher power, with source, with creator, and ask, where do you want me to go? What do you want me to create? And who do you want me to serve? I am in service to my local community and or the larger community. And that's where Allison and I will be. We'll be sharing through the microphone and videos of how to connect you with people who may be able to help you, who have skills that you may not have. One person doesn't have all of them. You saw that whole list of admirals and generals. The team, the devolution team is powerful team. And then they have their teams and they have their teams and they have their teams. And so we have been inspired to co-create our community of humanitarians, of regular people. There's no criteria other than being respectful to one another and to be open to learning the truth about everything in our history so that you can bridge that gap, because especially people who have foreign currency, because you're going to RV first. You may have your money first and your resources to help those who are still struggling. And I just want to say it's painful when I see somebody who needs money and they ask me if I could promote their Give, Send, Go account, etc. We're not in that position. That's not what this platform is about. And yet, if I have the extra resources, then I will donate to your cause. So if you are asking for help, keep asking. Don't stop. It's like in building your business. If you so choose to. Some of you may go retirement and be so happy and full blown refirement, doing what you love to do. I'm not retiring. I'm being refired into my highest purpose and calling. And yet, it's so important that we acknowledge ourselves for the gifts we can see in ourselves or that others can see in us. And that's how it worked with me. Other people saw my gifts before I could see them. I had low self-esteem. I was emotional. My nickname was Crybaby. I was the sensitive. And as I grew through the 12-step program and all the other courses and self-empowerment and spiritual evolution and expansion, I started to see my own inner light. And that's what we do. We shine a light on ourselves, we heal, we recover, and then we teach others how to do the same and take your power back. And it's really all about your joy and your bliss. What is it that makes you feel good? Because when you feel good in your higher purpose, your business, whatever your creation is, then your light shines, and it's shining to the world around you and beyond through the etheric realm. So you have positive thoughts, that goes out and expands, and you walk in the room and you light up the room. People can look in your eyes and know if your heart is open or closed, and you will do the same in making discernment on your own. People who are addicted to problems and always bringing problems, you know, I teach how to find the solutions within you and within your community, because there's somebody who's been through what you've been through before. And the sooner you can cut the cords and heal that past pain, the sooner you can be fully awake and aware in this present moment, conscious on the prosperity playground. And that's where we're going together. And one day at a time, we will see the RV. One day at a time, we will see the restored republic and our partnership with other countries like Canada. Who else sees Canada and the United States as one continent, and Mexico? What if we were all part of the same continent in the geopolitical realm? What if we were able to travel without our passports? That when you see Nasara Jasara happen and you see the call for people to go home to their nations where they were born, where they're holding their citizenship, don't be afraid of that. You're going home to reclaim your Jasara, which is Nasara, National Economic Security and Reformation Act, in your nation. And then once everything's settled, the dust is settled, everybody's on gold-backed currency, you'll be able to travel the world as a free, sovereign human being again. No more of those nasty border guards on the US-Canadian border. Mexico's much easier. Canada, that has been a nightmare. So hold the vision with me. Effortless ease and grace, traveling between the borders. And if you've had DUIs, drinking under the influence, if you've had any criminal activity that was, you're not a bad person, you made a mistake, you've rectified your mistakes, you've gotten sober, whatever. Or if you were stopped at the border because of the Gestapo. Oh my gosh, I've been questioned so many times, interrogated, sniffing dogs, you name it, I've been there, because I used to travel up there twice a week for months. And for years, I was going to Canada. So I know what that's like. Even with the Nexus Pass, that is so much easier. Yet imagine, please, with me, a free border, a free world where You know, we are trusted to be who we are, good human beings. And sure, you need to pay for your consequences if you're breaking the laws that are here to protect society. We need people to come into their countries legally. And so all of this exposure over the last 4 years is exactly that. It's to wake us up, the Great Awakening, not the Great Reset of Klaus Schwab and, the Illuminati, WF. You're fired. You are a powerful and prosperous person, and welcome to the prosperity playground of love, peace, joy, harmony, and bliss. I'm off to see my son. I love you. I'll see you Thursday. Aloha, everyone. Thank you, Allison.
Phil, I'm the captain now, bitch. I'm the fucking captain. I'm the fucking captain, bitch.
In today's digital age, words traverse continents in mere seconds. The power to uplift or annihilate reputations lies within our grasp. This is the true story of Phil Godleski, a man caught in the crossfire of both online defamation and beyond, standing firm in his quest for truth amidst the battlefield of social awakening, fake media, defamatory billboards, and more. Phil's ordeal began with accusations from his past, allegations that were proven false and have again spiraled into the light of public judgment. From a fraudulent voice and calculated hit piece that is far removed from the facts of his past. Despite Phil resolving these matters legally long ago, new defamatory efforts have cast shadows over his story, where he must move beyond the noise to bring clarity for the sake of himself and his family.
Recently,
My apologies, everyone. That was the wrong video.
You're so sexy.
Um, it's
when we make mistakes, we just go, let it go. And you're so sexy, so we can lighten up because we're all just humans doing the best of our ability.
We were trying to promote Phil's upcoming movie, and I thought I grabbed it in haste, and I will put it up in a moment. I think he had it pinned at the top. That was the problem. And I don't believe, you know what? I'm just going to go to his website. That's usually better, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. It's the Quantum Films, PHILMS.
I got
it?
Yes, I have it.
Great.
One moment, please.
November 22nd, 1963. A day that shook America. But what if history as we know it is not the true story of events? 104. JFK's journey beyond the grassy knoll unveils an untold chapter where resilience turns tragedy into a covert mission against unseen enemies. From the depths of seclusion, a fallen leader rises to challenge the deep state, shaping a legacy far beyond the limelight. Discover the hidden journey of a president who survived to fight from the shadows. Coming soon.
I hope you enjoyed today's show. You can find me at nancykerner.com, on social media, and remember the truth about you. You are a powerful and prosperous person.
Are you tired of all the pills in your medicine cabinet? I'm Linda Bamber Olson, the creator of the Wave Watch, a more natural approach with 1,000 frequencies for mind and body. You've got to hear some testimonies from people just like you. I absolutely love this Wave Watch. It has helped me with occasional aches, cramps in my muscles. I twisted my knee a month ago, and the Wave Watch has helped tremendously with the pain while healing. And how about this one from Debbie in Colorado? My left leg was hurt bad enough that I would cry when walking to the doctor. Doctor appointments are $170, and chiropractic sessions were $45 many times for the last 2 years. My hands and neck are stiff. My leg quit throbbing within 5 minutes of the session for bursitis, and 2 hours later, still no pain. Are you tired of all your pills and endless trips to the pharmacy? Why not try the Wave Watch with 1,000 different self-care ideas and put your mind at ease? It's the world's first sound frequency therapy watch. Wave Watch is not connected to the internet. There are no messy cords and patches. There's no monthly fee. It's very simple, easy self-care. And best of all, people are comparing it, saying it's like a med bed on your wrist.
To order your Wave Watch, go to wavewatch.com and be sure to use the discount code Nancy100 at checkout to receive $100 off your order today.